Today is April 23rd. Boone got ejected. The Yankees lost to the A's, and we've got things to discuss with Boone. Bantered with Boone. Sharp stats. The Yanks. Big dumb.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy, Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, steaming hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes.
How dumb he looks. You really look at his face up close.
He did.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy, Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy, Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, brought to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake, BBD, producing away. And Boone will be joining us this episode as we discuss him getting ejected without saying a word. Not a word. Didn't say a word. He didn't. A fan did. And that fan said scathing words. How are you, Jake?
New signature line for all the baseball fans. James Davis. I'm doing all right. I don't know. Early one of those, but you dropped game 1 to Oakland in a 4-game set, and I feel like it's one of those things I almost don't want to ask Boone, but your mentality needs to change. Like, you kind of can't split 4 with the Oakland A's at home. And like now,
the bigger combo is, how come we can't hit lefties? We could hit all our righties.
how come we can't hit?
Yeah, I know, but the lefties they're like 4-6 now against lefties or something like that. Which that was a strength. You would think all the righties should still, because we did that well last year.
Right.
But yeah, Sears gets some. I don't know. I didn't see much of that game because I was working on the breakdown, so I got to clock in. How was the atmosphere at the stadium?
Awful. It was a Monday day game against Oakland. It's the weirdest crowd I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's why the mics are high.
I was like, because the mics were so hot at the beginning, I was at one point looked up and I was surprised that there was like a decent amount of people, but it was a pretty chill Monday afternoon game.
It was a group of people that could get to a Monday afternoon game.
Against the A's.
We didn't get in there until the 4th inning, so if we missed anything early on. But yeah, I mean, there was just nothing going offensively. JP Sears' revenge game, which
Has he had 3 of those now?
it's all he knows. I don't know. And yeah, the sticks have just done nothing. Like if I want to do butter knife stats about the Yankees in the first 4 innings of games, like it's been nothing. And then you can extrapolate that. There was a Blue Jays series fun fact that the Yankees have only scored in blank amount of innings. It was like 3 innings in the series, and now the offense has gone quiet since Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, Verdugo and Soto are going. When was Cleveland? Last 14 games? Should I do that? 14 days? Would that get me Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland's in there.
So let me see. Soto, Verdugo, Trevino. Those are the 3 that I've been hitting.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Rizzo's sneaking up on a full-blown bad month. Same with Glaber, and same with Judge. So.
Yeah.
That's Volpe, Jekyll and Hyde. He's now been tough for coming up on 2 weeks. I mean, you're talking.
Want to know who's got good stats? Last 13 games?
Leadoff, cleanup, the guy who's supposed to be our 5-6.
Stan. His last 13 games, good stats.
Yeah, but he's been sitting kind of intermittently, which
Yep.
I don't know.
12 games started, 13 games, so that includes the 1 pinch hit out. Take that out, and it's even better. But it is like, that might be the longest chunk we've seen of Stanton having good slash line in a long time since
Like
he was an all-star.
The first about that long of last year, he was good, then got hurt, and then was bad the rest of the year.
Yeah,
So
it's
about that long.
289 batting average, 360 on base, 600 slug. I mean, not sustainable, I don't think, for him right now to be that high in all 3 of those. But I don't know if we've seen 12 games of that out of him in a long time. So way to go.
Yeah, I mean, he had that one hot series at the end of the Toronto series, and he carried that into Miami a little bit. But again, if you really want, the last 9 games, he's 207, 737 OPS.
Yeah, but you got
that's with off days. That's 2 weeks now.
Yeah, but just got to make it look good.
Come on, offense. No, it looks good. We got our first sharp stats of the year coming up this episode.
We do. After chatting with Boone, what's on our list here to talk to Boone about? Obviously, getting ejected.
I could see that getting brought up.
That fan does a really good impersonation of him. Let's go home plate. Even if that's what Boone said.
Right.
Which
he told him no more.
Did you hear what Hunter Wendelstedt's
apology, the non-apology?
He said that he heard it from the far end of the dugout. He knew it wasn't Boone and he knew it wasn't Osmus, but he heard it from down there. It wasn't a fan. It's just a great move by him because he's like, okay, where cameras can't see. No, it wasn't let's go home plate. I heard that, but I heard something else down there that was worse, and we can't disprove that. So that's
a lot of
where
lies,
he's going.
Hunter. A lot of lies.
5 pitches into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Boone has a reputation. That hit by pitch, that check swing set everyone off, and then you're gone.
See if Boone wants to be playful with it or not.
This Aaron Boone interview is brought to you by Cuts. Let's be real. Most guys would wear a T-shirt every day of their lives if they could. The problem is most T-shirts aren't acceptable at work or following up to go on the date night afterwards. Cuts has changed that. High quality, wrinkle-free, and buttery soft so you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. I wore Cut shirt to the game yesterday. Trevor Plouffe wore a Cut shirt out in Vegas this weekend. Go check that out on Talkin Baseball. And Cuts is giving you 20% off when you use code Yanks. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order with code Yanks at checkout. That's 20% off your order. CutsClothing.com with promo code Yanks. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts Clothing. Click the link in the description.
All right, welcome in, Boone, for another episode of Bantering with Boone. Aaron, you got ejected yesterday and you didn't say anything. Does it still feel ridiculous?
Yes.
Has there been any movement? We were wondering, how does appealing or talking to the league or what's the next steps for you to right the wrong?
Nothing. I mean, I'm ready to move on from it. That's for the league to deal with and how they handle, their internal stuff. I have no idea. I don't really have any recourse for it. I think the league is upset about it and, not happy about how things were handled, obviously, but I'm ready to move on. We got a big game tonight, and that's kind of how I look at it.
Do you walk up to Hunter and give him a handshake before the game, hey, that was tough yesterday. Let's keep it moving this series, or how do you do that?
No, I never really take these things too personally. So I always try and, in my interactions with umpires or anyone, try and keep it professional, friendly. I enjoy people. I enjoy most all the umpires, to be honest. And, nothing will change with how I go about doing things. I usually don't go out and take the lineup card out anyway. I usually at some point greet the guys during the series. I see them, wave or whatever. But I mean, clearly, everyone saw it. Everyone knows.
Did you see his quotes? I mean,
yes.
It would have been nice for him to say,
"Yes,
I botched it."
We all been there.
Okay, so there's going to be no picture of you, him, and the fan at home plate today.
Maybe we'll set that up at some point.
Tom Payne just got the check swing call, right? This never happens.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even upset with Hunter. I just said you can make the call too, to which he came back pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
Right away. And although although what he said to me, I was totally in line with. I agreed with. It was a good explanation. The velocity and the vigor with which he came back, I didn't think was right. But his answer was excellent. That's why I said, okay, we're good.
Yeah, you gave him the thumbs up. All that fan said was, let's go, home plate. You know, it wasn't even that egregious. Do you know that guy that was sitting there? Have you met him yet?
I don't.
We thought we should have invited him and just brought him in on camera here.
Yeah.
And it seems like you want to move on from this, so we'll ask one more question. When we originally asked about getting thrown out of games, you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to explain it to my kids. Like, do you want to explain that to your kids? Like, is that a life lesson? Life's just not fair sometimes.
I mean, I'm sure there's at some point a teaching moment there, but also I can always handle things, in better ways too. So,
well, I think the lesson is the company you keep, and you were too close to that guy.
Yeah. Well, onward and upward.
No gum toss though. I was a little bummed about that. Well, you're not chewing gum?
No, I wish I would have been more calm and just like, I wish I would have just thrown I want to challenge that.
Oh yeah, it's good. It was him.
And not left.
God,
I'm not leaving. You gave him the Jordan Belfort. You said, I'm not leaving.
I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to challenge that.
Well, let's talk a little Yankees baseball, I suppose.
Okay.
And we came in hot to trot about the lineup, Juan Soto and all that, and we're seeing our first little hiccups. And I don't know, somewhere we jump to, and sometimes it's fair and sometimes it's unfair because we ask for stability. But when things aren't looking pretty, we also look for the shakeup a little bit. So obviously the big one, everyone looks at Soto and Judge, and they want to, can you flip the projection to have Soto behind Judge? I guess, have you thought about doing that change? And then the other one is tied towards the top of the lineup. We saw Volpe move up. He's slowed down a bit. Do you think about, Verdugo's been hot or getting Glaber back up there?
Yeah, no, not right now. There's a handful of guys who want to get going, Glaber included, getting Judgy going, getting, just a handful of guys in the lineup that we know are going to get rolling, want to get that going. But no, I don't think flipping Judge and Soto all of a sudden think, oh, now we're just going to throw fastballs to Judge, or we're just going to throw the ball down the middle to Judge. Like, that doesn't even work it's a very overstated thing in our game. Like, you pitch to the guy how you're trying to get them out. And, speeds can sometimes affect certain situations, I think. And there is that occasion where, you do get maybe a better pitch in a certain situation because you don't want to, not go after somebody with a very dangerous guy on deck. But those are much talked about more than the reality of.
So you're not a believer in the Maris and Mantle switch, the home run race, putting him in front of Mantle?
Well, look, we'll see how the season unfolds and how all the positions in the lineups shake out. At the end of the day, I'm going to shoot for balance. So, if in that balance I've got to move some things around, then so be it.
What about Volpe? When you moved Glaber off, you thought Glaber was pressing at the leadoff spot, and you said you wanted to give him some, a different feel down in the bottom of the order. Volpe's at-bats were good in Cleveland. He got pretty unlucky in Toronto. He has been swinging out of the zone a little more up top now and just being attacked more, I think. Do you have any thoughts? Are we here? Are we changing? Is everything up in the air?
Yeah, no. I'm not. Look, obviously DJ's going on a rehab assignment today, so that always can factor into things, down the line a little bit, how it shakes out. But no, Volpe hasn't not hit the last 2 days because he was hitting seventh or he was hitting first or he was hitting sixth. Like, Volpe's just fine, and that's
okay,
baseball.
But
frankly, I knew when you move a guy, because it's going to be a story.
Yeah.
That as soon as somebody goes 0 for 8 or 0 for 10, well, it's because of this, that, and the other. It's baseball, and you know
Yeah.
and especially early in the season across the league when you have it's all you have to go on, and you're talking about especially in the case sometimes of a lot of great players, and they're not off to a great start. That's what you have to go on. So we all,
But to be
react.
fair, it is what the reasoning you gave was Glaber early in the season pressing in the leadoff spot. So it is something you yourself have talked about. So I don't think it's that unfair to question whether you have the same thoughts for Volpe.
Yeah, look, I felt strongly that Glaber needed to move down. Let's just say that.
Okay. You talked about DJ a little. We got an update that the doctor said he advised not rehabbing, and then but then DJ kept saying, "No, I'm gonna go." I was very confused about those updates. Where are we now?
No,
Is he cleared?
The foot doctor was just adamant that he wanted him to be 100% and felt like the weekend, working through the weekend still would be really valuable. So he weighed in that way. DJ felt strong. He was ready to go play starting Friday, which we were all kind of gearing it towards. But then, the foot doctor who's got a really strong history now with DJ weighed in and said, I think there's a lot of value in him going through this weekend and then starting that rehab on Tuesday. So when we went into this and DJ was on board too with it, was like, hey, we're not going to mess with this. We want to make sure when we're ready to go, we're ready to go. And so here we are, and he starts his rehab tonight in Reading.
So what will you guys be looking for out of DJ? I mean, he's obviously a veteran ball player. We all know DJ at this point. Is it just building up strictly innings? Is it something he wants to see in his at-bats? Like, what's the balance between his vote in it and your guys' vote in it?
Yeah, I think, you're kind of looking at the week, and so he'll play tonight, probably be off tomorrow, and probably play Thursday, and then probably like Saturday, Sunday would be kind of how the week would probably unfold. But again, I think it's going to be how he responds to it. How does he bounce back? How does, going out now and playing 5 innings, 7 innings, 9 innings, how does he, what's it like the next day? And obviously having now missed, a month of time of at bats, getting live at bats too. Yeah. What I'm seeing from him physically in his work, he looks really good. He doesn't look, in his ground balls and his BP, he looks like he's fine. Now it's about being able to do it over a couple hour period and bouncing back and doing it the next day. That's where we're at now in the process.
What was with the Taylor Trammell move and Kevin Smith? Because the backup infield now comes from the starting 9 if it's on the left side of the infield. Is this just DJ's coming, so the bench gets served a little better, having speed and outfield?
Yeah. And at the time, we did think DJ was set to go on his rehab on Friday. So with that getting pushed back just a few days, it got a little complicated there, but it was an opportunity to get a really talented guy. I mean, this is a guy that was a big-time prospect that has done a lot of good things in the minor leagues, that is very talented and is a young man. It was a chance to get that. And, we'll see where it goes. And then John Birdie's probably not far behind DJ also. So we'll just we'll see. It was an opportunity to get a talented player in our system and just add some depth to the system.
Taylor was nice to us at Arizona spring training. Was that 21 or 22?
Right after the lockout.
Right after the lockout.
So 22.
So we're a fan of him. Permission to play him.
You know what? I followed him a little bit when he was coming up with Cincinnati when he was a big prospect. And I remember watching some film on him and really liking him. I actually told him this when I saw him, like, man, I was kind of on you a few years ago, like, man, I really like this kid. And so there's a lot of talent in there. He hasn't realized it yet at the big league level. But as you guys know, these things happen at different times throughout careers, and sometimes it takes a little longer for some guys, but really good kid, and only 26 and really talented. So we'll see.
Looking at the Yankees' offensive profile right now as a team, it seems like a common thread is patience. They lead the league in walks and on-base percentage, but they're also lowest in swing percentage. They're lowest in they're lowest in Major League Baseball at swing percentage for starters, and then lowest versus lefties. So it's just a lot of patience. But then you look at even strikes, and I think they're 21st swinging at pitches in the middle of the zone, 23rd swinging at heart of the zone. Is this a team approach that get discussed? Like, let's attack more, find a pitcher, do you just like have a game? Sometimes you see the whole lineup have the, hey, swing early approach against a certain pitcher. Is there any jump starting that?
I mean, everyone's a little bit, first of all, every individual in the lineup's a little bit different. Some guys are really like to get after it first pitch, if it's in their zone and where they're looking. And that's the balance you're trying to strike. You're trying to strike that balance of really controlling the zone and not being a team that chases, but being aggressive on where you're hunting, what you're looking for. So I think even though we've had some offensive struggles, we've also, a lot of our success, I feel like, has come around that ability to lay off pitches, make starters work, get to the underbelly, put together some innings that have helped us win a lot of games here early. So, we got to strike that balance. You're always trying to work and be the best of the best at being a team that doesn't chase, but being very aggressive on pitches that you can do damage with. So that's what we're working to do always.
Are you seeing anything from Riz? We obviously last season ends in a bizarre way a little bit. He comes out, and I feel like, even when he first came over, he was yanking balls foul, and we were laughing, and we talked about aiming for the short porch a little bit and things like that. I don't know. I think he clicked one in Toronto, I think, to the opposite field, and it went to the warning track. And then we thought he hit a walk-off on Sterling bobblehead 420 day, and it ended up landing on the track there. So I guess, are you seeing or feeling anything different with Rizzo's at-bats?
Yeah, I feel like, such is the nature of I think, even for well-established, really good veteran all-star players like Riz, it's like, and especially coming off a season, he's been, so durable in his career and played so many games that, coming off a year last year where he ends up missing much of the second half of the season and coming back, and now you get off to a little bit of a slow start, the human nature is you want to chase that result a little bit. And I feel like maybe a little bit he's expanded a little more than he probably should. And part of that is because he's such a good bat-to-ball guy. He's so good at putting different pitches in play. He can expand a little more than most guys because he can lay the barrel on it. It's kind of always been a calling card for him, but I think probably a little bit here over the last week at times, searching for that result a little bit. So because he knows he can touch and handle and get to so many pitches, he's probably gone after a few that, he probably can't do a lot with. And that's probably hurt him a little bit.
We saw you change the lineup up yesterday versus a righty for the first time, Sunday versus a righty with Rizzo and Savali. Paul Blackburn tonight. He also, so far this year, is having a really good season and is he's faring much better versus righties and lefties. I just had it open. But
right, he's very neutral too.
So what went into changing that? The reverse splits of Savali, is that the main thing? Just more wanting G in that spot. Feel like even though G hasn't got a ton of results lately, I still feel like he's putting together the right at bats and has just missed a handful of pitches here over the last week. Just breaking it up a little bit. I'm going to have two righties in a row at some point in that lineup. It's where do I want it? Do I want it 3-4? Do I want it 4-5? When they go to the lefty for the Rizzo, Glaber, Verdugo lane, or for the Soto, Judge, Rizzo lane, where's my preference on that? Who do I want getting that left-handed bat? Do I want it to be Big G? Do I want it to be Glaber? Those kind of things. I have a note for you on the remainder of the A series. You're welcome to say you're welcome afterwards. The Yankees, your team, right now currently lead the league into grounding into double plays percentage, and the A's lead the league in turning double plays, their middle infield. So maybe some hit and runs, some things in motion. Is that part of the Yankees game plan at all?
Well, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Listened.
Yeah, you never know. Everything's always on the table.
We've seen a lot of teams give the Yankees sloppy outs like that. Like the Blue Jays had a hit and run with Justin Turner that went wrong, strike him out, throw him out. A lot of your pitchers have been picking off runners to end innings. Is it bizarre? I think it's going on around the league. I think because everyone thinks there's speed in the game now with the new rules, but we've seen a lot of last outs of the innings kind of on like, oh, why'd you guys do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just some teams are going to push the envelope 3-2 if you have the right matchup, and it's the bottom line is if the ball doesn't get put in play, you're probably going to be out, and that's the risk you're willing to take. If you have the right pitcher and the right hitter up there, you're going to take that chance, knowing that if we swing and miss here, there's a good chance we're going to be out. So that going in when you make that 3-2, 3-1 decision, whatever it may be. You're just kind of weighing the cost versus the reward.
Nestor looked really good this weekend, and he's building up. He's got people daydreaming of the Nestor that we fell in love with. I guess the two things. One, the first thing from last year, it was the recovery time. It, I think, became the big thing with him. So I guess, when you guys checking on that, I'd assume everything's been better there this year. And then the second thing, you and Matt Blake, a couple of silly baseball guys, when Nestor starts doing the funk, do you guys just look at each other and kind of shrug like it's a 2000 sitcom movie, or is any of that coached?
The pump fake definitely does.
Illegal.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
My first thought was that can't be illegal. But so I actually called to check on it. Sure enough, it was not. So, no, he's in a good spot. And you're right on the recovery thing. That was such a challenge for him last year. And, even in some of the games, he was having some decent outings. He was just running out of gas and would kind of lose it quicker. And then just, really had a hard time in between outings working on anything or building any strength because he was just all about getting right so he could go to the post. He's done a great job. The strength and conditioning coaches, the training staff, and you guys have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, like going back to the winter. And, he really sold out. Actually, when he got shut down last year in the second half of the season, he worked his tail off to put himself in a good position, and he's seen some of those fruits here early, with his recovery in spring training between starts, and now carrying that into the season. He's in a good spot physically and throwing the ball well.
Rodon has another good start, and his season numbers look great as well. So the two of them having good starts back to back. They also did it against the Marlins, but just keep it going it's a season-changing duo if they're both on like they were their last time. Yeah,
no question. And, it was good to see Carlos kind of do it in different ways. Yesterday, I didn't think he had overwhelming stuff, although he did at times in the game when he needed to. When he got into a little bit of a jam, he could reach back for some added velocity. I thought he pitched really well yesterday, which was really good to see. Now we got Stroh going today, who's off to a really good start. He had the one game against Miami where he struggled a little bit, but otherwise, and even taking it back to spring training from spring on through now, he's been really sharp. So excited to see him go out and do his thing tonight too.
Is that the most amount of innings you've watched from the clubhouse? It's got to be the earliest you've been ejected.
Yeah, I would think that's the earliest.
You were suspended for a game at one point, but you watched that from one of the suites, I think.
One of the suites. Yeah, you can't be in the locker room for that.
Does anyone come hang out with you when you're watching down there?
You mean like yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm able to, move around the clubhouse and stuff. Like, I'm talking to everyone.
But it's no one's job to be like, hey, you have to come keep me company now. I'm bored.
No.
Okay. You should think about that.
Yeah.
Play some Uno or something like that. Watch the game.
Any Boone, tough one for your Sixers last night, and it's kind of a oh boy, and it's a big time in New York. You know, we're obviously big bandwagon blue shirts guys, but we've been seeing, you know, half your lineup is showing up at the Knicks playoff games. Do we have any friendly banter going on in the clubhouse? Maybe some gentlemen's wagers, bottles of wine.
Nothing like that. I talked to those guys after they went to game one just to see how it was and everything. So I know they had a really good time. I think G and Volpe were there last night. Did I see that?
Yep.
I actually went to dinner. I was listening to the second half on my way home last night, and I got home and walked in the door to the Sixers were up, you know, up to 4 or 5, and then that happened.
Things fall apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. Well, go win 3 in a row for us.
So, thanks, guys. Good to see you.
See you, Boone. And that was Boone. We ended it with some basketball talk, and now I'm going to start this with some basketball talk because the NBA preseason is in the books. It's finally time for the real season. Don't miss out on any of the NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Yanks. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Yanks, only at DraftKings. The crown is Jake's. Jake. They just want Volpe lead off.
Yeah.
He danced himself into a corner there where I couldn't do anything but Boone.
Yeah.
You can't tell us this is ridiculous when this is what you just told everyone.
And I wanted to preface it because, you know, we've done a lot of talk about having a consistent lineup. Like that's been one of the things for a while. So there is another side of that coin, but I just think it's, you know, he says like the media can make much more ado to it because it's not like pitchers are just going to feed Judge meatballs because he's in front of Soto. And yes, that's partially too. Well, he did say on occasion you get a better pitch, which I almost called him out for saying occasion like that. He really hit the O.
Occasion.
But it's also like you guys, the Yankees, because the media kind of does their job, it's now made the Yankees more gun shy to do things that are normal on a baseball team. Like switching up the lineup here and there is a normal thing that's happened throughout baseball.
Yeah, I'm even fine if he's like, no, I want to keep it because I do believe in the talent. I'm just saying he was acting like asking was ridiculous because of pressing. Yeah. Everyone wants to blame it on lineup. It's like, well, that's what you told us you moved Gleyber for, so whatever. In the end, I'm just interested if the kid gloves ever come off Volpe. He protects Volpe like crazy.
Oh.
Like Gleyber never got, even when Gleyber was 20 years old and a rookie, he never got the like, don't even ask. That's ridiculous to ask. That they give Volpe. So he deserves it. I guess you want to not make his life hell and all that, but it is interesting.
I mean, Volpe's the chosen one. Top prospect, jersey, shortstop, all of it comes from actual Yankee fan lineage. But I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where I think they, by not just treating it fairly, they can end up making it more of a thing. Like, when did Gleyber come up? And he was
21?
2018?
Yeah.
And did he, you know, I don't think he ever topped the top 3 of a lineup. I think
I thought they put him leadoff, and we were mad about it.
Gleyber?
They tried it pretty early on, or the audience just wanted it.
I don't think they did it that whole first season at all.
I feel like that first year was like maybe when they were down, he snuck into like a 5-6 hole, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, but it's really all 7, 8, 9, and
it must have been, that was when fans were asking for it, and we were like, no.
And go look at Gleyber's numbers compared to Volpe's. Like, Gleyber was going nuts that year. Gleyber had a OPS in the 8s the whole season. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they get in their own heads. Like, we talked about what would it take to send Volpe down last year. And for me, the limit did not exist. Like, I think they're thinking more about the PR side of it that, I don't know, the Orioles might have an interesting decision soon. They sent down Gray Rod, their star top prospect pitcher last year after he struggled. Jackson Holliday's come up and he's actually had a bad time. So it's become a conversation there that I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything close to that, but
No, not
if
sending down.
if things are working, you shouldn't change them.
Yeah.
When things aren't working, you should think about changing them. So I don't know, to give a full stiff arm like that.
The team has the least amount of hits in the first inning, I believe. I did this yesterday, and I will double check my search right now, and I will include batting average, on base percentage, slugging, and hits in the first inning. And then I will search it. And I believe when I did this, the least amount of hits in the first inning is the New York Yankees, tied with the Cleveland Guardians. 13 hits over the course of 20-something games, whatever it is. 167 batting average. Now, unlike the Guardians, who have a 160 batting average and a 190 on base percentage, even though they're having a great year, they're automatic outs the first inning. I was looking at that. They have one game where they weren't 1-2-3. Yankees have a 343 on base percentage. That's Soto. He has the most walks in his first appearance. But the leadoff spot just seems a little cursed.
And it was
for a long time.
Judge was walking. I don't...
Your D-backs, 384 batting average in the first inning.
Yeah, Ketel Marte has been going insane. I think he's got like a 500 on base to start off games or something.
They have a 435 team on base in the first inning.
Stupid fast.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if I just want the best out of the team, and I think that's where the Yankees are at too. And I think they still have a little too much of their optimal operational Death Star Yankees in mind. That like Volpe's gonna be fine. Like we're on the Volpe train. It's all good, man. But for this year, could Volpe be awesome as the 6-hole hitter? Maybe. Like I don't see, instead of locking in.
You don't see why they're not being flexible at minimum. Like, why are we locking it in?
Yeah, I mean, like you countered with the Glaber example. Why isn't that being treated exactly the same? Yeah. Exactly the same.
I think like the only thing I can think of that he left the door a little bit open on is like when DJ comes back, maybe he left the door the slightest bit open. The main takeaway was still, it sounds like they don't plan to do anything.
Maybe Glaber wants out. Maybe like he's protecting Glaber and we're misreading it, and Glaber is like, Boone, please get me out of the leadoff spot. I don't want to be here. Could be that. I mean, we don't know.
It could be. And
he said a vague, like, just don't. I had an inkling Glaber in the leadoff spot.
Dude,
like,
what happened in Miami? Because Glaber, up in the first 10 games, he had a 340 on base percentage.
He was seeing the most pitches in baseball.
And then the 3 games against Miami, I mean, did he just get reminded about the trade, Pablo trade? Because Miami comes to town. He goes 0 for 12 with 2 walks. And then he's out of the leadoff spot after that. And since then,
3 lefty starters. Do you think he should have like hit them like crazy, and when he didn't?
And he's still walking. He's got a 194 batting average and a 306 on base percentage since being sent down.
That's something.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think I want to get Boone's perspective on what he's seeing from Rizzo, because we've talked about it a little bit. Like at first, the defense was just bizarre that we didn't know what to do with that. And Rizzo has made a couple plays, so we'll let that settle some more. But yeah, with the stick, we haven't seen foul ball homers. We haven't seen a ball laced, like hit on the screws. And yeah, you wonder, this is a team hunting for hits right now. Like even though we're in a little bit of a funk, there's still walks to be had out there that you need people that are going to hit. So does that mean a Verdugo-Rizzo swap at some point? But I think right now Boone's going full shrug, it's just baseball. Why would we change the lineup when they changed the lineup earlier?
Interesting to note, I'm looking at Glaber and Volpe's stats since the switch. 194 batting average for Glaber, 195 for Volpe, 306 on base for Glaber, 250 for Volpe, 194 slug for Glaber, 220 for Volpe. So Volpe has a 470 OPS, Glaber has a 499. So depending on what you like, Glaber's been a little better since the switch. So is the leadoff spot just cursed? Because Glaber wasn't that bad. Whatever. They're both bad. Everyone needs to step up.
Yeah, and hey, I guess maybe, and
Yo, they're going to rush DJ back. I almost didn't want to say that to him. Like, he needs at bats.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they treat that. And there's a good note, BBD, because he did specifically say DJ, and that goes back to the Judge quote to start the season, and maybe they're chalking it up to cursed and DJ at the top with Volpe. I was going to say Volpe 9, but they're not going to do that.
Judge got half the at-bats in spring training than he usually gets, and we're seeing a slow start. And Rizzo took the end of spring training off with whatever it was sore, and we're seeing a slow start. And DJ needs that bat. Like, he was talking about, we'll see how his foot feels, and I was going to chime in and be like, but wait, he just needs it.
Yeah.
And then he caught him. He said it too, and he just needs at bats, but he needs more than 5 games. He needs a spring training.
DJ's saying, I only want 5 games, but you gotta overrule him at some point.
Yeah, I mean, DJ did get some at-bats this spring. He got...
But it's been 2 months.
29 plate appearances a month. So, yeah, I don't know. I would, if I was part of an organization, I would let the veterans dictate it to a degree. Like, if DJ goes to the minor leagues and he looks like DJ LeMahieu after 5 games and the foot feels okay, I don't know. I do think at a certain point you deserve the nod. At the same time, we talked on this program about the playing those final games in Texas or doing the Yankees off-site training, and I was very much you'd have to go to those games in Texas because those are games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Every situation's a little different.
Been 40. It'll be 40 plus days.
Just about right. The unfortunate thing on the DJ just doesn't really have the benefit of the doubt on how he's feeling on his toe for a couple years now.
Right.
So
he needs to find his swing. Like
that's
last time he had a foot injury, it took him a while to find his swing. I don't know. I just feel like they're...
I'm not saying don't work with him and talk it out.
But they are so confident that when they thought he was coming back, they got rid of Kevin Smith on infield and brought in Terrell. And Boone said, yeah, we thought DJ was actually coming back sooner. So you're really going to just rush him up. It seems a little nuts to me.
Yeah, I mean, rush is the beauty of the beer holder. I think if the DJ's now personal foot doctor, who gets the biggest vote, and probably rightfully so from everything
they
we know.
got to be called something else, right?
Podiatrist.
Boone's just going foot doctor on him.
Yeah.
He said foot specialist, I think.
Because I think you're a podiatrist,
At least one of the
but you
times.
can specialize
He
in
said
different
foot
things.
doctor a bunch. Made me laugh.
I think DJ's been good for a little bit. Like, we saw DJ practicing on the field, and I think DJ's been, doing baseball stuff. That's why, when have we ever seen them give, a rushed timeline? That's where I think everyone's kind of itchy on DJ, because I think I think since, the first week of the season, DJ's been, kind of good, just not cleared at all.
I'd love it. He's going to... I would bet he struggles and has to find his swing, get his timing right.
Bet that
they'll
with any
probably
baseball player coming back, though.
Do extra days off.
Well, if he
early
did
and
2 weeks in the minors, I'd feel more confident.
even a full week.
If he plays 5 games, doesn't have good returns, and gets called up, it's like, okay.
Agree with the returns part.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like Boone says today a game, day off Thursday, day off 2 in a row, Saturday, Sunday. Does that mean like an off day Monday, and then they're just going to let it rip Tuesday? Or play 3 in a row in the big leagues and then an off day? I don't know.
They'd be in Baltimore. Maybe May 1st, maybe not.
Maybe like let them wait till they're home in against Detroit.
Getting closer and closer to Judge, or Cole, which is I'm getting excited about.
Yeah.
And I did talk to Boone a little bit about the swing rate and the swing percentages. got a lot of that info from our Sharp Stats section, which we're going to throw it to, right? No!
Hey there, baseball fans. Do you hate foul balls? You know the kind. No matter how hard you scrub them in the shower, they still smell.
Wow.
My goodness. Ditch the soap. Step up to the plate with Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Developed by a doctor, this game-changing formula is safe for your entire body and knocks out odor like a champ. We got to start passing this around our office a little bit with summer here. Whole Body Deodorant. Mando is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, packages, belly buttons, cracks, crevices, feet. Clinically proven to control odor. Now better than soap in the shower. So, with that, get in front of it, and we've got a discount code for you to hook up all of our friends with the best-smelling body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. It's over 40% off. Use code YANKS at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, code YANKS. Click the link.
Hey guys, it's the Queen of Stats, and yeah, we got to talk about this offense, or actually the lack of offense. As I'm recording this, the Yankees have just been shut out for the fourth time this season. That's terrible. Looking just at some very high-level statistics, as I record this before the night games tonight, the Yankees are 21st in batting average, 21st in slugging, and 19th in OPS, and 15th in runs per game. So this is not a typical Yankee team that we think of that can mash their way and score lots of runs, and the team that we expected when we signed Soto and returned a lot of players. Now it's early, but historically, Yankee teams that start this poorly on offense, specifically relating to being shut out and the lack of homers and extra base hits, they don't typically have success or make the playoffs. So just some numbers here. This is the 8th time they've been shut out at least 4 times in their first 23 games. None of those 7 previous teams made the playoffs. Looking a little bit more about scoring droughts, they've been held scoreless in 76% of their innings this season, and the 7th time in the last 40 seasons that they've had that high of a rate through 23 games. Only one of those seasons they made they ended up going to the playoffs. That was in 2021. So another not good sign. Now looking at power, specifically home runs and extra base, I limited the search to kind of the last 25 seasons because that's when power has become a lot more relevant. So this is just the second time in the last 25 seasons they've had 22 or fewer homers through 23 games. The other was 2014. Yeah, they missed the playoffs that season. The second time in the last 25 seasons, they've had 53 or fewer extra base hits through 23 games. The other was 2016. Yep, they missed the playoffs that season too. Now, I know there's a lot of reasons for this. You can blame, underperforming players like Glaber and Judge and Rizzo, and maybe they'll come around. But one thing I noticed was that it's maybe that the Yankees are just being too patient. Yeah, being patient is great, and we know how high their walk rate is, and walks are better than outs. But what happened to swinging at strikes and pitches you can drive? So entering Monday, the Yankees, they ranked 23rd in swing percentage on pitches in the heart of the zone. These are pitches that clearly are going to be strikes, not even on the edges. And 21st in swing percentage on pitches exactly right down the middle, those meatballs. So Yanks, let's start swinging at those pitches, and let's get the offense going.
All right. I didn't realize it was going to be that big of a bummer. I appreciate it by Katie. Thank you very much. I will say part of me hates where my brain went because it sounds very much like what we heard all of last year, which was, I think they're going to be better than this. The personnel is much different. So I do think they're going to be better than this. I do have realized they are very patient, and that has been bothering me. I tweeted out, let's throw strikes and swing at strikes, please. Stan's the only one that is not patient right now. He's swinging way more than usual.
Yeah, I wonder for these stats early on the season, and thank you, Katie. Glad to be back. Sorry we missed you on the first 2 electric weeks of Yankee baseball. I wonder how much Soto can cook some of the books with how much he takes walks and see pitches. And again, that's a good thing, and it's a massive part of the Yankees lineup. But As I was looking at some of the numbers and the feel of the recent Yankees offense, 2021 was the year that kind of jumped into my head because it felt like they were having, I don't want to say rallies, but they were getting guys on base via the walk. There was no speed, so we were living in fear of double plays that were happening a lot. I think the Yankees offense has been sputtering so much that we haven't even gotten to that point. Like it's been slow. It's been ugly. I mean, to see the fact that they are now they're fifth in on base percentage. I think they're leading the American League in walks, which again we asked for a lot of this last year. We begged for this, but you still need to hit, and it's kind of it's the heart of the lineup right now. I mean, Rizzo's supposed to be a hitter for the team. Judge for being one of the best hitters in baseball, all around. You know, he has a really good hit tool. He's like a 280 type batting average guy that in today's baseball is pretty incredible. So with those two kind of being in the middle of the lineup with nothing there, it's shutting us down on both fronts. Like, even when the bottom of the lineup is flipping it now Volpe and Judge are in tough spots, and in the middle of the lineup, Judge or Rizzo. So I don't know. I'm not as scared as when you say last year, because the fact we're getting walks, hits will come.
And last year, I didn't believe that those people could turn it around. This year, I truly do. I'd like to see it. It is nice that they're not in first place anymore, but they have a winning record and doing well, wins and loss-wise. But yeah, there are some things that are like, man, they're like 76% of innings being just shut out. You can feel that. They win their games 1 inning out of 9. And usually have been getting help from other teams, which I think is going around. So I'm not saying, I think everyone is benefiting from sloppy baseball right now.
Yeah, and I think we got really hyped up after Houston because it didn't feel that way. It felt like every at-bat was competitive. I mean, Oswaldo winning over the job at that point. Soto's at-bats were obviously electric. Judge, Stanton, Rizzo. Even the catchers that we didn't have the sample size yet. But I don't know. It feels like they've gotten away from that, and that's my biggest reason why I love the Orioles lineup. When you look in the Orioles lineup, you don't see a Judge or Soto, but every inning they put pressure on you because everyone gives a good at bat. So when the pitcher does have that one hiccup inning, whether it's, they miss the 3-2 pitch, maybe the ump misses something. Umps have been missing or hearing a lot in today's episode, that you then put yourself in position. And right now, our best chance at a rally feels like Oswaldo gets on, Trevi rips a single through the hole, if Volpe can get him over, and then you have a Soto at bat. But right now, there's no like rhythm or rhyme to the Yankees offense.
Yeah, I'm looking at the plate discipline chart right now on Baseball Savant. MLB average right now is 66.3% zone swing. The Yankees is the MLB is 66, and the Yankees are 63. And then people that are way less than the average, because Stan's less, but it's more than before. Wellesley is swinging at pitches in the zone 72% of the time. Glaber is swinging a lot. Rizzo's attacking strikes. Everyone else is below that. Judge is 63, and he's usually higher. And then let's see, chase percent. See, Stan's at 34% chase now, but his chase contact is way higher because he's sitting on breaking balls, so he's going down and getting them.
Okay.
And I think that's actually helping him. It's still not like great compared to the league. Wow. Trenton Grisham, 3.1 chase percent.
No chance. Not him.
Not him. Jahmai Jones, 40.
Come on. Jahmai was swinging. I actually appreciated that. I've been on the bench for 2 weeks. If I'm getting a start today, I am not taking a strike. I'll tell you that much.
God, Soto's got 15.2 chase percent. Yankees average is 23. So he's really helping him.
It's good. Yeah, I guess that's the, again, this isn't how it's supposed to work because we're excited about Soto, but if you start looking at these stats and you now cut out Soto, like, the on-base percentage becomes middle of the pack. And then everything else goes from middle of the pack to, like, bottom 10. So that's where we need other guys to step up.
Yeah, and rotate. If Soto's steady, that's awesome. But, Judge has to come around. I still think he will.
Yeah,
I think he's actually trying to force the issue this last week, and that's why we're seeing him swing more and look like bad, because he's just trying to swing his way into a rhythm instead of taking. That's what I'm telling myself anyway.
Yeah, I went through Judge's last few years, and his worst slumps were in April, the past 2 seasons. So I think it's that's a little Jakey-lytics for you guys. If you go look at Judge's game logs from 23 and 22, he has like a week and a half slump in kind of each of them. So I'm, knock on wood, we've kind of outdone that a little bit, but that's also coming from the start of the year where it was just walk Judge and Soto to see if anyone does anything. I'm not worried about Judge yet, but need him to go. And then, I don't know, Glaber's normally our hits guy. Rizzo's supposed to be a hits guy, and they've been struggling.
Man, Rizzo has a 100% meatball swing.
Okay.
I don't think he's getting results. I think it's at 3-0. No. I think that's Rizzo. I'm starting to feel worried about.
Yeah. Need to see something.
Well, just like he's connected a couple times, and you're like, oh, I think your timing was good.
Yeah.
I think you got the barrel to that ball. I don't know what happened.
Still don't know about the mysterious flyout.
Yeah, it was weird. Some fan threw it in. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. The Yankees are good, okay?
Hell yeah.
They should be really good. The offense is good. I think they need to balance the lineup out better.
Pitching numbers are still pretty good.
Hopefully in the section before this, when we talked about Boone about the lineup, we got some good news. Doubt it. He's going to keep everything the same.
Hope it was at least a productive conversation.
You guys tell us you already listened to it. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.